My daddy said he loves me. I read it in a letter when I was 49. I was in my late teens or early 20s when he wrote it. I couldn't receive it then. I didn't believe it then. My daddy hugged me. I saw it in a picture when I was 49. I was in my late teens or early 20s when we took it. I couldn't receive it then. I didn't remember when. You see, daddies play an important role in their children's lives. The absence of his presence forces the child to build a wall of protection. It's for survival. That void becomes an open wound. We bleed until we find the courage to ask for help. That is, if we ever find the courage. I bled because of my wound of fatherlessness. You see, my father was not in my life. Just a few visits, a few calls, and letters throughout my childhood and young adulthood until he passed away. My heavenly Father, who heard my cries, saw my wounds, and understood my void, told me that he was my source. But I looked for something tangible to validate it. And as we know, misery likes company. So my wounds only attracted those thirsty for blood or those who had untreated wounds of their own. So all we did was intensify the wounds, suffer together, and hurt each other. But once I was tired of the pain, I sought my Heavenly Father again. My Heavenly Father has taken me on a journey of self-discovery, self-love, and healing. He took me, and healing. He took me through a journey of trust and faith in him with every fiber of my being. Then at age 49, he brought me these memories of my earthly daddy in letter and picture form. My daddy said I'm beautiful. My daddy said he loves me. My daddy hugged me. I can feel it now. I believe it now. And this discovery has brought me an even more beautiful gift, even though my daddy has passed on. I can hear his voice now as he calls me sweets. Oh, how I wish I was open to receiving it back then. But of course, my Heavenly Father knew what he was doing. It was in his perfect plan, which drew me to him, and now I can share these beautiful truths with other wounded souls who identify as fatherless and help them to come to discover the path to victorious healing. So use this precious gift of time wisely. Seek after your Creator and discover you and your purpose. Find healing and just be, so that you can experience healthy relationships while you are still among the living. Let's heal and be free. My daddy said I'm beautiful. My daddy said he loves me. My daddy loves me.
Right after she passed, I was separated and went towards a divorce, so that's another loss. Then I lost my dad in February of 2020. Another loss. Then the place that I worked that I loved the most, which I built my career, was Comcast. And I worked there for 11 years, had 6 different positions, had an amazing career. Lost that summer 2021. And and I lost my best friend and my older brother from COVID in 2021. So, didn't get my unemployment check for a year. Right. So here's the thing. The trend in this book is it's gonna always be something. You can't escape it, right? But life goes on after everything. So how do you get to the after? Well, sometimes you gotta dig in your past. And even when I see every author that came up here, we're all talking about in some way, shape, or form something from our childhood, trauma bonds, failed relationships, whatever the case may be. We've all experienced some type of trauma. And if anything the pandemic taught me was the importance of self-reflection, self-assessment, and taking accountability. When I made that decision to file for divorce, I immediately went to therapy. I was there for a year. And it was the best decision that I made. And I'll tell anybody, if you're not ready to take accountability for your part in anything, don't go to therapy. Because the mirror is going to be in front of you at some point, as it should be. However, the way I did this book, I didn't realize I was actually writing the book. Chapter 1 is it took me a long time to be able to write chapter 1, to be able to process chapter 1. But chapter 1 is actually documenting me at my mother's deathbed at University of Everett, because I was at her deathbed typing my journal, and I literally just needed to purge. How many people in here is that nucleus in their family? Everybody comes to you for everything. Okay. How many people is that nucleus in their family? Everybody comes to you for everything. So to those who raise their hands, when it's your turn, who do you have to go to? Nobody. You might have one first, then. No, God, that's it. But when you go to your people, because I've actually heard it, well, Eric, I don't know what to say because I'm so used to you helping me. I don't know how to help you. So this is how this started, that journaling. Because I needed to be my own counselor. I needed to be my own friend until I was able to get to therapy. So chapter 1, I really go through the process of forgiveness with my mom. So it is not a
Today is about technical violence, like conduct, and experiencing as well in athletes. This is actually a second edition that I released last year. I have another edition, that's the first edition that was released back in 2020. And basically, my reason for writing both editions was to spread awareness of mental health to athletes, to acknowledge all the emotionally stressful challenges they endure on a daily basis that affect their performance, how they build relationships with others, whether it's teammates, coaches, or their relationships in general. I talk about how the sports industry they may have worked about sport affect their mental well-being throughout their latter days in life. I also talk about how sports performance affect academics, financial challenges, how they affect their ability to cope with stress with family or careers or whatever it may be. So alongside of that, my book is based on personal experience. I talk a little bit about my personal experience being an athlete. I was a basketball player throughout grade school. I used to do dance, all genres of dance. And I suffered a sports injury throughout my high school career, and from there I didn't continue to play sports. So I knew then that I wanted to take a different route, so spread mental health and athletes with the route that I took. So with this, I wanted to just be able to have athletes who are comfortable and vulnerable with discussing the things that they may be going through, be able to talk to one another, be able to utilize it as a resource to be able to get the help that they need, get the help, and not feel bad about getting the help, and be able to enjoy life once they stop doing or should they retire. So yeah, that's basically it.
Who said, you don't look like what you've been through? Well, I don't look like what I've been through. I've had surgery on both my feet. I've had double knee replacement. I have twins. One was born natural, one was born by a C-section. I have a son who laid transverse over my stomach, and he decided he was not coming out the normal way, so I had to have a C-section with him. I had 2 breast cancer scares. I have a pacemaker. I had surgery on my neck called cervical laminectomy, and I also had brain surgery. I had the lenses on my eyes changed because I could not drive at night because I couldn't stand the lights coming at me. It was scary. When you get older, stuff happens. No stuff happens to you. No stuff happens to you. Yes, yeah. So this is the latest of all of those things. Of part of my walk of testimony. The cover was designed by my daughter, who is a graphic artist. And when she drew it, I just liked the picture. I didn't know whether or not she had a meaning behind it. But one day she said to me, Mom, do you know why I drew this picture? And I said, no. You see all this back here? It's like debris. But what it represents is my pain, my suffering, my anxiety, my fears, my just not knowing what was going to happen to me. When I went to the hospital, my daughter had found me unconscious. And when I went to the hospital and I was conscious long enough for the doctor to say, Victoria, you have COVID-19, you have pneumonia, and you have a virus running through your bloodstream, which explained why I was burning up. I mean, I was burning up from the inside, and they were packing me with ice, and I was still hot. That's how bad it was. But I'm a Christian woman, and when the doctor was saying that to me, it's just like the doctor telling me you got cancer. You're not responding, right? My response was to look to the heavens and say, "Thy will be done," because I didn't know what was going to happen. My children were told I was in a coma. I was on a ventilator for 30 days and respirator. When I came out of the hospital, I could not walk. I could not taste my food. I could not smell. I later found out that I lost my singing voice. I had to go to speech therapy to learn how to breathe so that I could sing.